90.7 WTCC. Good morning. Welcome to the Black Love Experience. Good to be back with you on a Friday morning. Y'all wouldn't believe how long the line was at Starbucks today, man. I almost didn't make it here, but I'm here. Um, been in Tennessee for the last week and a half for the International Holy Convocation of the Church of God in Christ, and wonderful meeting that we had out there. But it's good to be back home. I'm glad to be back home. Um, got to hang out with my son yesterday on our Pizza Thursday. We've been doing that since he was a little boy. And it was good just to be back in my own bed and with my family and getting ready for the Thanksgiving holiday, which, man, it always comes up so quickly after we get back from the convocation. It's already on next Thursday. My goodness. But looking forward to hanging out with family and the holiday season and all that it brings to the table. So I've been out the last 2 Mondays, the last Friday. So I haven't been with you all for a minute. So it's good to be back. And y'all need to catch me up on on what's been going on here in the field, because I've been completely out of the loop in terms of the news and information that's happening here in the Valley. And I was really focused on what was going on where I was in Tennessee and with the convention. And you all know how those things go, from morning until night. You're going, and you really don't have time to focus on much else. And so I'm just now kind of focusing my attention on the things that I need to be focused on that are still left behind here at home. So looking forward to catching up on all of that and just seeing what's going on here in the Pioneer Valley. 413-337-1867. 413-337-1867 is the number here. If you want to chime in on the conversation, and I'm not even sure what we're talking about this morning, but good morning to every one of you. I understand somebody told me that Kyrie Irving is going to be suited for the game against the Grizzlies. I don't know if that's true or not. If somebody knows if it's true, let me know. Drop it in the comments section. Holler at your boy. Let me know what's going on with that. But I know I've got some commentary around that because of a move that Barnes and Noble recently made, and TMZ was covering the story, and they were being kind of disingenuous in the story, and we'll talk about that and whatever else. So it's kind of open forum morning. 413-337-1867. Matter of fact, let me get that up there on the screen. 413-337-1867. If you want to get in with me here on WTCC. Welcome to our listeners throughout the Valley. Welcome to our listeners that are listening on social media, on our various social media platforms. Good to have you all with us. Tell a friend, tell somebody. Bishop is on the air right now. So if they want to get in, um, they want to talk about whatever news, and let it be newsworthy. Let it be something. Don't y'all just call me stressing me out on a Friday, man. It's the weekend. All right, it is the weekend. Let's start the weekend out right. Matter of fact, let me play some of my stuff that I need to play here. Shout out goes out to um, former Representative Ben Swan, um, the founder and creator of Black Love Experience, and host for so many years. So definitely shout out goes out to him and to each and every one of you. Let me get my Ferris Hill in the building. You know, I always got to give you a little bit of Ferris Hill motivation. Don't stop. Don't stop. Can't stop. I thought I told you that. We won't stop. We'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. All right.
But the essence of growth has changed. The being in the road will be the end of the road if you refuse to change. Reach a little higher, reach a little higher, dig a little deeper, dig a little deeper, go a little further, go a little further. Don't stop. Come on, come on, come on. Reach a little higher, come on, yeah. Dig a little deeper, dig a little deeper, go a little further, go a little further. Don't stop. Come on, but don't stop. The essence of life is growth, but the essence of growth is change. The being in the road will be the end of the road if you refuse to change. Your life will never change until you get disgusted with where you are. Whatever you don't hate is what you tolerate. You must learn from the past, plan for the future, and live for today. For it is your daily routine that determines your success or failure in life. It's the choices that you have made up until this point that will determine the rest of your life. So break the cycle that doing enough is simply good enough. You only get out what you put in, so don't settle for the crumbs when you can have a whole loaf. So push yourself beyond your limitations. Come on. Reach a little higher, reach a little higher, dig a little deeper, dig a little deeper, go a little further. Don't stop, don't stop. Come on, don't stop. Reach a little higher, reach a little higher, dig a little deeper, dig a little deeper, go a little further, go a little further. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop. So you gotta break the routine of trying to beat the system. Manipulators will always try to bypass the process for the quick progress. There are no shortcuts to success. There are no elevators to the top. You gotta take it one step at a time. You gotta break the routine of allowing others to get into your head to control who you are and where you're going. You see, when you're about the positive, you're gonna always have haters. But don't let your haters push you down, let your haters push you forward to the next level. So when people show you who they really are, don't perceive them to be something else that they're not. See, a zebra does not change his stripes. So you gotta keep pushing yourself to the next level. Yeah, there you go. Come on. Dig a little deeper. Come on. Yeah. Go a little further. Go a little further. Don't stop. Come on. Don't stop. Come on. Yeah. Reach a little higher. Reach a little higher. Dig a little deeper. Dig a little deeper. Go a little further. Go a little further. Don't stop. Come on. Come on. Come on. You gotta understand the greatness is the nature that you were born out of. You'll never discover your greatness without hard work and dedication. Greatness says more about who you are and what you expect for yourself. And greatness will always attract greatness. Show me your friends and I'll show you the future. You're just a step away. You're just a step away. You're just a step away. Don't ever give up. Come on. You're just a step away. You're almost there. Come on. You gotta push yourself beyond your limitations. You see, there's no mountain too high, no valley too low. You can go where you want to go. It's all in the power of your imagination. If you can see the invisible, you can do the impossible. So stretch yourself. Take yourself to the next level. Come on, come on, come on. Reach a little higher. Dig a little deeper. Go a little further. Come on, come on, come on. Don't stop. Come on. Reach a little higher. Dig a little deeper. Go a little further. Don't stop. Don't stop. Come on. Yeah. Come on. Come on. Blessings are coming your way. Go a little further. Don't stop. Don't stop until you get your dream. Don't stop. Get your dream until you get your dream. Come on. Don't stop. Don't stop until you get your dream. Don't stop. Get your dream. Come on. Yeah. Don't stop. Come on. Come on. Come on.
All right, 90.7 WTCC. You got to see it. You got to reach a little higher. Go a little further. Dig a little deeper. Don't stop. All right. So, yeah. It says Kyrie could return to the Nets. But a top Jewish leader still hopes to meet with him, which is, of course, Jonathan Greenblatt, the head of the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League. Now, here's the thing. Once again, let's just backtrack a little bit. Kyrie shared a link to a film, a documentary, without caption, he didn't say he agreed, disagreed. This is something y'all ought to watch. Make up your mind yourself what you think about it. It's like, I heard a comedian say, imagine sharing the link to the Netflix series that's out on Jeffrey Dahmer. Imagine, good morning, Lyle Seymour. Imagine sharing a link to Dahmer and then going to work and being told you're fired because you must support killing and eating gay people. He said that's what happened to Kyrie Irving. That basically, what they disagree with in the movie, in the documentary, they're claiming that those are Kyrie Irving sentiments, not the sentiments of the person who produced the documentary, but Kyrie's for sharing it without commentary. And then giving him a 6-step process by which he could return to work. Part of that process was given $500,000 and all kinds of other things he had to do in order to meet their standard of having significantly apologized and showed a level of contrition to the Jewish community to be worthy to return to work. This type of censorship, this type of blatant public shaming and buck breaking is dangerous, brothers and sisters. It's very, very dangerous. Basically saying that you cannot opine, you can't have an opinion of something in the public sphere without risking your livelihood. And it's gone way too far. This week it was announced that Barnes and Noble removed the book version of Hebrews to Negroes, which was the name of the documentary that Kyrie shared. They removed the book from their distribution list. So if you search it now, you can't find it on Barnes and Noble. So TMZ does an article saying that the anti-Semitic book shared by Kyrie Irving taken off the shelves by Barnes and Noble. First of all, Kyrie never shared the book. So TMZ, of course, is sensationalizing the whole thing for clicks and likes. Um, it's being completely dishonest, saying that Kyrie shared the book because he didn't share the book. TMZ, why you lying? You ain't got to lie, Craig. Um, but then, not only is TMZ sensationalizing, I get it, they're trying to increase their ratings and all that stuff. Barnes and Noble, why are you being so disingenuous? Yeah, Barnes and Noble takes Hebrews to Negroes off the shelf, but it still has the bell curve on the shelves. The bell curve, that anti-black pseudo-scientific book by a racist who was claiming that genetics determines intelligence, basically saying, white people are intellectually superior and black people are intellectually inferior. That has been a controversial racist book ever since it came out. But you got rid of Hebrews to Negroes, but you're still selling the bell curve. So you can keep anti-black books on the shelf. But because the Jewish community was upset about this one, you got to get rid of it. So once again, showing us that anti-blackness is acceptable. But if the Jewish community is offended, we must act immediately. We must act immediately. And so when we highlight that double standard, when we highlight the fact that as long as Kanye was saying white lives matter and praising Trump and saying slavery was a choice and and giving out this anti-black rhetoric, that y'all ain't had no problem with it at all. Matter of fact, here's the thing. Matter of fact, the Jewish founder of LA Apparel was the one who produced the White Lives Matter t-shirts and was going to distribute the White Lives Matter t-shirts for Kanye until Kanye offended Jewish people. Now just think about that for a minute. So a Jewish man, clothing distributor, was cool with anti-blackness. That was okay. It's okay for him to produce anti-black t-shirts or shirts, and it was okay for him to distribute the anti-black shirts. But the moment Kanye offended his people, he said, nah, man, nah, you're on your own. I'm not distributing these shirts for you. But nobody says anything about that. Nobody's highlighting, okay, why was it okay for a Jewish dude and a Jewish owned company to be ready to distribute these anti-black shirts, and then y'all applaud them when they refuse to distribute them because Kanye offended Jewish people? I mean, you can't see the blatant hypocrisy in that. I mean, come on, man. Come on, stop playing with me. Um, so Barnes and Noble sticking out their chest. Look what we did. We took Hebrews to Negroes off the shelves. But we're still selling the bell curve. Matter of fact, Barnes and Noble. Let me. this is going to trip you out, because not only are they still selling the bell curve and all kinds of anti-black books. I think I saw on there yesterday somebody posted on my Twitter page where they were still selling books by Adolf Hitler. Yeah. Yeah. You heard me right. They, they want you to think that they're doing something to fight anti-Semitism by taking a book off the shelf that was written and produced by a black man that some Jewish people have been offended by. Yet they're still selling books by Adolf Hitler. Yeah, there it is. Mein Kampf by Adolf Hitler, Ralph Manhang, Conrad Helden. So, so Nazi, anti-Jewish Nazi books by Adolf Hitler are still sold on Barnes and Noble, but they're taking Hebrews to Negroes off. I mean, just come on, man. It's just hypocrisy. It's hypocrisy. And you're right, Mike Martin. Why can't there be freedom of speech? It's supposed to be freedom of speech, right? That's what they told us. That's what they said. That's censorship. I mean, we're no better than nations that burn books, ban books, and decide what the populace can consume intellectually. How are you any better than other nations who do that stuff when you're doing it here in these yet to be United States of America? You're telling schools that they cannot teach the true history of America because of its racist history. As a matter of fact, there was one proposal. Let me find that because that one's crazy too. Here it is. The governor of Virginia. Look this up. Somebody look this up. Put it in the comment section. The governor of Virginia. All right. Proposed standards for elementary school curriculum. All right. I need for y'all to hear this. Glenn Youngkin, governor of Virginia, proposed standards for elementary school that removes MLK from being mentioned. Yeah, you heard me right. It removes Martin Luther King Jr. from being mentioned. It is the selective erasure of one of the most prominent black people in world history. All right? Their revision of the proposed standards removes any mention of Martin Luther King. You know who it doesn't remove the mention of? Jefferson Davis, leader of the Confederacy. It doesn't remove the mention of Robert E. Lee or Stonewall Jackson, Christopher Columbus, committed genocide against indigenous people. Samuel Adams and a number of others, and all of the white slave-owning presidents. It doesn't remove any of them. But the K-5 curriculum in Virginia, as proposed by Virginia's governor, removes any mention of Martin Luther King Jr. Think about that. Think about this banning of history. This trying to cloak and cover the reality of what has happened in America to make white folks look less vicious and wicked than they have been. And yes, they have been vicious and wicked. I know you don't like those terms, but what else do you call owning people, castrating people, murdering people, burning people, lynching people, enslaving people, segregating, dehumanizing, brutalizing? What else do you call that? It's wickedness. So you want to hide the wickedness of whiteness by banning and getting rid of and modifying curriculum so you cut out the reality. Because if you talk about MLK, you got to talk about what he stood for. You got to talk about what brought him to prominence in the first place, which means you have to talk about segregation and dehumanization and lynching and brutalization. You got to talk about all of those things if you talk about MLK. So the best way that we don't talk about that is to not mention MLK. We don't want any little white children in Virginia to hear anything about MLK, because if they hear about MLK, they've got to hear about the wickedness of white people. So we're going to just remove them from the curriculum altogether. Get rid of it. This is what's happening. If we don't want to hear a varying opinion about the role of Jewish people in the transatlantic slave trade, about their role in the oppression of black people. So what better way of doing that than if we get rid of texts like Hebrews to Negroes? We get rid of things like that. I mean, that's the best way. That is the best way for us to do that. This is insanity, ladies and gentlemen. And this is supposed to be the land of the free, the home of the brave, and all of that stuff. And it's indistinguishable from many of the nations that America criticizes consistently. It's indistinguishable. You know, America always talks about Marxism and socialism and communism and fascism and all of that stuff. Well, what do you call this? What do you call banning books and all that kind of stuff? Come on, man. Stop playing with me. This is happening in America right now. It's happening in America right now. Right now. There are hotlines in some states that have banned what they have called critical race theory. And understand, critical race theory has never been taught in American schools ever. Matter of fact, critical race theory really has only been taught at the graduate level in law schools. That's the reality of it. So what they have called critical race theory, is actually American history. They, they have tried to call any mention of the they have tried to call the mention of any of the reality of racism in America. They've tried to call all of that critical race theory. It's not. It's just American history. Telling the truth about the genocide of Native Americans, of indigenous people in America is not critical race theory. It's American history. Telling the truth about the enslavement of black people is not critical race theory. It's American history. Telling the truth about the lynching, the brutalization, the rape, and the dehumanization of black people is not critical race theory. It's American history. So what they have done is disingenuously labeled any part of American history that they are uncomfortable with. They have labeled it critical race theory. And then they have moved to ban so-called critical race theory because they don't want little white kids learning the truth about their ancestors. You know, so that's what it is. That's what it is. That is what it is. That's what they have done. So when you hear this thing, and then you see black people, you see every time I turn around, somebody is posting a school committee meeting somewhere where they have some black man getting up talking about I don't teach my kids critical race theory. I teach my kids to be independent and and there's always some ignorant Negro who's on there to the applause of a whole bunch of white folks in some white town somewhere talking about how he doesn't agree with critical race theory. I mean, that's not impressive, y'all. That's not impressive because you can always find a Negro that will stab black people in the back. That ain't nothing new. That ain't nothing new. I mean, Nat Turner and those that were with him were snitched on by Negroes that stabbed them in the back. That we can always find them. Denmark Vesey had his plan of insurrection foiled by Negroes that were willing to stab their brothers and sisters in the back. Okay, so I mean, we know that they're out there. That doesn't mean anything. So for you white folks who think it's a big deal that you found a Negro that will tap dance for y'all, there's always going to be that. Always, 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 always. We know they're there. We understand that. We get it. So that's meaningless. But at the end of the day, you're not going to change the reality of what has been and what is. You're not going to change that. American history is American history, like it or not, love it or leave it, whatever you want to call it. It is what it is. It is what it is. Um, and and this move to modify, lie, ban the truth about American history across this nation. The only thing it's doing is it's proving that America is no better than the nations it continually criticizes. Okay? You're no better than those nations run by dictators who try to control the information that gets fed to the people, because that's exactly what you're doing. It's propaganda, it's lies, it's innuendo, it's a covering of the facts, um, and it's trying to control the minds of people. And so people always continue to talk about free thinking black folks. And when they talk about free thinking black folks, they're really talking about black folks who think like white folks. That's not free thinking. That's being brainwashed. And I'm not saying black folks can't have conservative values. There are true black conservatives who are not coons, who are not sellouts, who are not white supremacy apologists. Okay? Colin Powell was a conservative. Clarence Thomas is a coon. There's a difference between the two. Colin Powell had standards and values. And when it came to making a decision, when Barack Obama ran for office against John McCain, he said, I can't go for John McCain. He couldn't go for Mitt Romney. He couldn't vote for Donald Trump, even though he was a staunch Republican his entire career. He said, I'm a Republican, I'm a conservative, but I'm not siding with blatant, overt white supremacy. That's a black conservative. Most of the ones y'all call black conservatives are coons. And once again, there's a difference between a conservative and a coon. So I'm not saying black folks can't have conservative values. Most black folk I know on many issues are conservative. On social justice issues, they're progressive. So black folks do not have to vote along particular party lines. But when these white folks are out here talking about free thinking black folks, they're basically saying black folks who think like us. Black folks who cape for white supremacy. Who talk bad about it. They're talking about the Candace Owenses, the Brandon Tatums, the Larry Elders, the Clarence Thomases of the world. So they're always going to be able to find a black person who will walk in lockstep with what they want said and done. When all of this broke out against Kyrie, what did they do? They marched out black former basketball players to slam Kyrie Irving. Now, Brett Favre stole $5 million from poor black kids in Mississippi. Okay? To build a gymnasium at his daughter's college. How many white former NFL players came out to slam Brett Favre? Name 3. You can't do it. You can't do it. You can't find 3 former white NFL players that have come out and publicly slammed Brett Favre for stealing $5 million from poor black children. But you can find a whole slew of black former NBA players that have thrown, former and present NBA players that have thrown Kyrie under the bus. I mean, the top two tap dancers, Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley. Yes, boss, we's a throw Kyrie under the bus for you. Just tell us what you want us to say. And they got a hell of a nerve. I mean, Charles Barkley, the dude who spits on fans and throws people through plate glass windows and stuff like that. Talking about the morality of somebody else? Come on, man. Stop playing with me. Shaquille O'Neal, who owns a movie theater in Newark, New Jersey, that played the film that he condemned Kyrie for sharing the link to. Think about that. He owns a theater that actually played From Hebrews to Negroes, and then criticized Kyrie Irving for sharing a link to it. They were the first two standing in line. The boss, you need somebody? You need somebody to criticize Kyrie? We'll do it for you, boss. Just keep them TNT checks coming. Yes, sir, Master Ernie. I will say it. That was Shaq and Charles. Then you add Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and others to the mix. Just ready to throw their brother under the bus to satisfy a community that doesn't care about them at all. Why are we like that? Why are we so willing to castigate each other, to throw each other under the bus on behalf of folks who don't collectively care about our community at all? Meanwhile, okay, while they're throwing Kyrie under the bus, Amazon triples the price on the documentary. It goes from $19.99 to $49.99. It goes from being rented for $2.99 to being rented for $11.99, and it shoots up to the #1 documentary in the country. So Amazon is making a mint off of this documentary, while Kyrie is paying for it with his livelihood. But nobody criticized Jeff Bezos. And here's the other secret. Can I tell y'all a secret? Come on, lean in. Lean in. Let me tell you a secret. The CEO, the chief executive officer, the head honcho, the dude in charge at Amazon is Jewish. Let me get the guy's name, because I don't want y'all to think I'm just making stuff up. I don't want y'all to think I'm making stuff up. I promise you. The irony of this just gets crazier and crazier. Now, the Anti-Defamation League is able to get Barnes and Noble to pull the book, but they haven't been able to get Amazon to pull the documentary. Andy Jassy is his name. Look it up. When Jeff Bezos stepped down as CEO, Andy Jassy, who was a longtime Amazon executive and confidant of Jeff Bezos, took the reins of the company as CEO. So Andy Jassy, the CEO of Amazon is Jewish. And he hasn't decided that Amazon needs to stop showing this allegedly anti-Semitic documentary. Matter of fact, he has decided we need to triple the price on it and make some more money off of it. While Kyrie Irving has to jump through hoops to get his job back. Arsenio Hall used to say things that make you go, 413 337 1867. Oh man, I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, a lot of stuff going on. Meanwhile, right after I left to go to Memphis, midterms came through. I gotta admit, I thought Democrats would do worse than they did, particularly because of their neglect of their most loyal constituency, black people. Um, um, I thought they would do far worse. They did far better than even they thought they would do. So this red wave never came. Um, the Republicans thought they would solidly take the Senate, solidly take the House and gain 40 or so seats. They're barely in the lead in the House. They will lose the Senate. So the historical losses that a party usually gets during midterm elections did not happen. Did not happen. But let me tell you, I'm going to tell you a strategy. I'm going to predict the strategy. Oh, and then Herschel Walker and Warnock are forced into a runoff. Amazingly, in a close race, which means white Georgians said, we don't care how stupid Herschel Walker is. We're going to get him in office anyway. So the nation is divided, obviously. So here we are. Now, what they're going to do, let me make this prediction. And mark my word. Trump announced that he was going to run for president. How many of y'all heard of Crystal Mason? Crystal Mason was a black woman. She had done 3 years for tax fraud. She was still on probation or under supervision of the court. And she went and voted. She cast a provisional ballot. And she got sentenced to 5 years in prison for voting. Now, it's amazing when a black person on probation can get 5 years for voting, but a white man who tried to overthrow the U.S. government to steal an election can still run for president. Is it just me, or is there something crazy about that? He can still run for president, but she get 5 years for voting. Anyway, so Trump announces that he's running. Here's what Democrats are going to do. I'm predicting it now. This is what they're going to do. Mark my word. For the 2024 election cycle, they're not necessarily going to come out and tell black people, here's our record, here's what we did for you over the last 2 years, here's what we're going to continue to do for you, yada, yada, yada. What they're going to try to do is scare us. They're going to try to scare us. You better vote for us, Otherwise, you'll get Trump. They're going to use Trump to scare the votes out of you. And I mean, that's very much what they were trying to do in 2020. I promise you, that's what they're going to do. They're going to try to scare the votes out of you. Let me play this clip right here. This is what I have to say about that, because we've had bigger, we've endured as a people bigger threats than Donald Trump. Okay, we've dealt with worse than Trump. Let me get this in. Just a short clip. Listen to it. Let me see if I can get it up. The sound is muted. Let me go back. All right. See, black people have been through a whole lot in this nation. And
scary about being Trump getting back in office, because we face bigger bullets than Trump. He ain't the first demon we face as a people. God has somebody. God has brought us through far worse than the oldest man in the White House. And each and every time, God has worked it out for our good. I walked by Romans 8:28 the other day, and Paul stopped and tapped me on the shoulder and told me, time to remember all things work together for good to them that love God and are called according to his purpose.
So that's my message for y'all. We still need to hold Democrats and Republicans accountable. We still need to vote our best interests from the local on up to the national. And I keep telling y'all, don't vote red or blue, vote black. Okay? Vote in the interest of your people. Vote in the interest of your families. Stop blindly voting for a political party, one against the other. As many people have told you, there are two wings on the same bird. Okay, so we've dealt with worse than Trump. He's terrible. Yes, he is terrible. But he ought not be the catalyst for blindly voting one way or the other. All right. At the end of the day, people of faith like me, we believe God has it all in control. And he's going to take care of us no matter what. On that note, if you're looking for a place to worship, check us out at the Spring of Hope Church of God in Christ. We're located at 35 Alden Street, Springfield, Massachusetts. You can check us out every Sunday at 11 o'clock a.m. Okay? Prayer, praise, and preaching is going to be happening where we are building better tomorrows by changing lives today. So check us out. Be there with us. Wednesday, our virtual Bible study is at 7:30 p.m. So be a part of our family. Listen, check me out. Monday, we're coming back with the spoken word. Okay? We'll be back on Monday with the spoken word. We'll be back with Justice and Flow on Monday morning, 9 a.m. the spoken word, 10 a.m. Justice and Flow. And Lord willing, back on Friday with the Black Love Experience. I got to get out of here, y'all. Stay tuned for mid-morning jazz on 90.7 FM. I believe we're going back in the studio soon. Matter of fact, I got a training, a refresher course. I have literally been here in my man cave for 2.5 years. I'm going to miss getting out of bed, coming downstairs to the kitchen, making a cup of tea, coming down to the basement, sitting at my desk in my man cave, and broadcasting my radio show from there. I got to get used to getting up earlier, getting dressed, fighting traffic and school buses and stuff to actually get back to the studio. But we're going back in the studio soon. In any case, until the next time I talk to you and you talk to me, always remember, God loves you, and so do I. I'm out. Peace.